So today we're going to talk about Sentinels because Sentinels, after their game against Leviathan yesterday, decided to part ways with their coach Psycho. Here's the tweet from Rob Moore, the CEO of Sentinels. We've come to the difficult decision to part ways with Don Psycho Muir. Adam, it's Kaplan will be stepping in as head coach effective immediately. But this seemed to be a bit of an in-the-moment decision because clearly Psycho, this is his tweet after the game, 1-2 versus Lev. GG's to them, we should have closed that split for the 2-0, but we let it slip away. Proud of the progress this week, but still lots of work to be done. Now, to me, that does not sound like the tweet of someone who is expecting to be fired or, let go of anytime soon. So obviously something has gone on. But really the crux of this video is that I want to say that I agree with Psycho in this. I think that there was clear progress that Sentinels made this week. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that, oh, they relied on hero plays a lot and whatnot. But we're going to take a look at the map of Ascent, and you will see some of the good things that Sentinels were doing that I don't think that they were doing in the previous weeks. So let's come to this game, Sentinels versus Leviathan, and we'll start with the pistol round. And Leviathan are on the attack side, Sentinels are on the defense side. And this, I think, is a good example of Sentinels clearly doing their homework, doing their prep work, and putting it into action and punishing Leviathan for it. Because Leviathan, for probably around 6 to 9 months at this point, have been running this same pistol round on Ascent. They send these guys up here, they go wee up through the glass and pinch on these A players just there. They put a smoke down here, they send them up and they do a pinch on this A site. They've been doing it for a very, very long time. I'm pretty sure they ran it at Masters Copenhagen, and they just keep running it, and I've been waiting for teams really to come and punish them for this, and Sentinels, you can see, will punish them for this, because you can tell that Sentinels kind of have a sneaking suspicion that this is coming. They've gone for a heavy stack of 3 players towards the A site. They've got the Killjoy set up here as well, and you're going to see in just a second, I think as soon as maybe Def here hears any footsteps, he's straight away coming back up here because he knows that they are going to come his direction, and he wants to avoid any flash and whatnot, and we will get an Omen flash coming towards him in just a second. So you see, he starts to move away, in comes the dart, in comes the flash, he doesn't get hit by it. Obviously, we have the KO knife in response. How many times have you seen someone throw a KO knife here? Not too often, but, again, this is just the prep work by Sentinels coming in big and, basically winning them this round. The 3 gets suppressed, and now Def is going to do a nice little quick flick there. Managed to get those first 2 kills, and they even get the wraparound from Sassy as well coming onto the Killjoy just here, and so they managed to get this kill as well. And then we can run this just a bit faster because at this point the round is kind of already over. End up in a 4v2, and so straight away we can see kind of, some of the prep work that's going into Sentinels, paying off here. I mean, Leviathan, please, this kind of happened on Pearl as well. Please change some of your attacking pistol rounds because, you can't keep getting away by running just the same pistol over and over. But Sentinels were there to punish it. And now let's come to round number 3. And in this round, obviously, this is Sentinels bonus round, so they really don't have, a ton here. They don't even have any full rifle. And so, it's not a perfect situation for them, but they are going to manage to win this round, again, by playing pretty well. Leviathan kind of start off with some A pressure, as you can see just here. We are already 40 seconds into the round. Not too much has happened in the early parts of the round. We get this one way, but Mazzino kind of sneaks past it, but then we get this nice little flash coming out from Def for Sassy to swing with, and Mazzino just tucks himself in here and manages to, not die, essentially, and, jump peeks to check if he's okay, which he is, and that kind of convinces, I think, as they maybe hear the jump peek and hear a teleport, maybe they think that this is going to be an A hit, but actually Leviathan are coming across to B, and it is going to be a B hit. And normally when you say, oh, you're against a bonus, and you're going to get the spike down and a free sight, and the spike's going to go down, 5v5 retake, normally you'd say, oh, the team with the guns, they're in a good spot, right? They got the spike down, they'll probably be fine. In comes the dash, in comes the drone, the dart, close the door, all of that good stuff, and it's just going to be a full B exec, and Leviathan are going to pretty much just get the spike down. So 5v5 retake, as I say, normally you'd just be like, yeah, the team with the guns here, a lot of the time is just going to be pretty good, but Sentinels, they send in their flashes, they send in an Oma flash, a dart there as well towards lane, and they start to, kind of take the early control here of kind of you know, the kind of first part of the B site essentially. But what's about to happen in just a second is Mazino's about to send in an Omen flash, and I think they take note of that Omen flash because Sassy's not going to get hit by it. There's a one-way smoke, but there you go, that Omen flash comes across and it does hit them, but Sassy doesn't get hit by it, and I think he sees the direction of it, right? So they have a bit of a clue that the Omen is in here, you know, in B main, towards B main, and you know that the rest of the players probably aren't. They still have this alarm bot up telling them that, you know, kind of no one is in mid, and obviously they kept kind of this market control throughout. Tens is going to hit just a really nice shot on King there with the Marshal, and all of a sudden we end up in a 5v4. Now, I quite like Sentinel's decision here to just kind of forego the one way and just say whatever and kind of stick together with the guns and just kind of go together. We get a KO knife, which is going to suppress the other three players, not the Omen, which again is just another clue that this Omen, you know, is in B main. And so what they do now is really good, right? Sassy continues holding here for B main. Okay, Tens does get traded, but they just stick together, and you know, they're going to basically, Mazino is just going to, you know, kind of get a bit antsy, want to get involved, but Sassy, as I said, is doing really well. He holds for him, and now all of a sudden we're in a 4v3, and they start swinging out together. They get the trades. It's really, really good. And again, just by going together, playing as a team, they get a really, really nice retake with worse guns and manage to win this round. Now, last week or the week before, I don't think Sentinels would have won that round. I don't think they were playing well enough to win a round like that, but in this week, I think that they were, and they did. Okay, now let's come to round number 5, and what you're going to see here again is a pretty normal start to the round, right? We're going to get the one-way smoke up, smoke in mid here from Leviathan. They're going to send in this dart on the archway, and they're also going to send in the KO knife that Pancada manages to avoid, right? So Sentinels are kind of hinting that, oh yeah, no one's here, right? No one's going to destroy this dart. No one got hit by the KO knife. Oh, we're not here. Don't worry about it. And obviously, Leviathan are kind of saying like, oh, we want to come to this space, right? We want to try and take some of this space. And they also try and shock dart the alarm bot, but they actually miss. But what's about to happen, and this is a really cool idea by Sentinels, and again, something that I don't think Sentinels would have done before. They just sent out a dart here that got destroyed, which is just like an extra clue that, you know, someone is around, and the KO knife towards short hasn't seen anyone. So what they're going to do is Def is going to leave his post here on A, and he's going to come back here. Zekan's going to cross across to market and come and play with Pancada, and they're going to set up a little trap play off the alarm bot. What I like about this, though, is that it's not, you know, it's not like a pre-round plan. You know, it's not like they were in those positions from the very start and that was their initial plan. They've clearly come up with this, you know, obviously it's something they have in their back pocket, but they've clearly, you know, gone for it off the information that they've already got in the round, that this would be a good time to go for it, right? That they've got this information that, you know, hey, there was a KO knife there, and hey, there was a dart that came in there, and, you know, I heard a shock dart trying to destroy this alarm bot, and it hasn't, right? And so they set up this trap, right? And you'll see that Taco and King here, they're going to come for it. But you see Pancada's kind of already in position. Zekan's getting into his position. Def's getting into his. And the timing kind of worked out perfectly for Sentinels here, that Leviathan, you know, hit the alarm bot just at the time where, you know, everyone's kind of in the right position. So Def goes and he throws this flash up high. It just lands just up at the top there. And now we get a double swing coming out from Sentinels, and they get 2 kills. Right? Again, this is not something that I think we would have seen from Sentinels in these previous weeks, right? Like these trap plays on the fly like this. But that's just really good stuff. And from this point, you know, Leviathan just save. With 1:14 left, they just save the rest of the round until Sentinels win another round off the back of a really nice play. But now let's come to round number 10, because of course not everything was, you know, going perfectly here for Sentinels, and this was an example, I think, of an area that Sentinels can still improve upon. In the last round, we saw that they came up with a plan, you know, something that they had in their back pocket, and they found the right moment to do it. In this round, I think you're going to see, you know, maybe some of the problems where they can't quite always adapt quick enough to the situations, and sometimes, you know, don't adapt well enough to the situations at hand based on what has happened, right? So what's going to happen in this round is we can already see that Def and Sassy here are kind of abandoning A main and are somewhat abandoning the A site as well, right? They're just trying to hold down short essentially together, and the reason that they're trying to do that is because they've got a Killjoy lockdown for A, and Leviathan don't have any ults or any great way of destroying it, and so this is a perfectly normal setup, right, to just, you know, put a Killjoy lockdown in here and play retake on A and win the round off the back of that, right? It's a perfectly normal play. The problem for them is that in this setup, Sassy is just going to end up in kind of a bit of what I would call a bit too aggressive of a position, right? Because really, Sassy, you can see him just standing here. His problem is, of course, they don't have any information on A main or anything like that. So he's here, but if someone comes short, he can't escape out this way because he doesn't know what's going on over to, he doesn't know that someone's not about to swing that way and kill him anyway, right? So he kind of doesn't have an escape. But if you're playing for this kind of more passive retake setup, you kind of can't die here, right? And so Sassy really probably should just be in here, right, watching short rather than in this area instead, because you'll see that he runs into this problem, right? He sees Taco there and then tries to kind of reposition and get out, and now Def is kind of ready to swing off him, but Sassy doesn't really have a way of getting out, and so Taco kills him. Now Def tries to swing, but he swings into two people now, and so it all kind of falls apart. And then from this point, you would think, it's a 5v3, you've lost the site. You might even consider just saving here, to be honest. This might just be a save call. But, this is what I mean, where they just end up going for kind of the same plan. I'm not sure if this is a great decision by Pancada to put the ult, right? Maybe we want to look for a kill before we actually go for this Killjoy lockdown and whatnot. We've now lost the control of short, so we can't put a Killjoy lockdown, down in kind of the ideal position. We have to come and put it in kind of a bit of a worse spot instead. And, this is actually just end up going to be spammed by Leviathan instead. They're just going to spam the ult and destroy it. So, the ult doesn't even really get as much value either. And so, it's just one of them where maybe they didn't adapt. Like I talked about them in kind of that last round, adapting to it well. I mean, Ten's actually updrafts and managed to get a pretty sick kill on Mazzino there. But Taco, just before he kind of is getting shot at by Ten's here, and somehow Taco manages to destroy the lockdown with spam and then turn and manage to kill Ten's as well, which is kind of unbelievable. He does get traded. We end up in a 3v2, but, I mean, still a very tough situation where they don't really have this control. Shai manages to kill Zekan, and Pancada's left with nothing to do. And so, in this round, you kind of see sometimes it can still fall apart for Sentinels. Little mistakes, maybe from Sassy earlier in the round, kind of cost them their round plan. And then from there, maybe they don't quite know how to just adjust just yet to what's exactly, the exact situation. And so there can still be some problems. But now let's swap sides and come to Sentinel's attacking side. And I think we will see, again, the same kind of things coming up. Leviathan have just taken a timeout. And they're 10-6 down. It's not going great, and they're on a save here, Leviathan. They've got the one kind of hero rifle on Taco that they saved, and other than that, it's, not looking great. And what's going to happen here is Sentinels, I think, want to go for a B split, right? They want to go and do this, and they want to do it pretty quickly. The thing is, they're actually going to manage to find the first couple kills here as Leviathan try and get aggressive themselves and, go running down. Pancada managed to just spam Shai there. And then, with the one rifle, Taco tries to get aggressive as well, and he dies as well. So we end up in a 5v3. And again, we talk about, like, adjusting plans, right? At this point, really, Sentinels, there's no real need to carry on with any kind of, faster B split or anything like that, right? Really, at this point, against a save 5v3, you're just kind of chilling, you're playing as a team, you're just kind of going with it. But instead, this ends up in just pure chaos where, they try and send it fast, but okay, King hits a nice shot. Tens decides, oh, I'm in a bad spot, didn't realize they'd be there. He ends up dashing back straight into Mazzino, who's now picked up a rifle, and it's just chaos, and he dies as well. And now Sassy is kind of trapped between two players, and so it's very weird for him as well. He actually does manage to pick up the spike, but he goes down to literally 1 HP. And so he's kind of now trapped and he doesn't know which way to go. So he tries to escape and his teammates are like, oh yeah, we're holding for you, don't worry. But unfortunately, Mazzino's in this corner. And so he kind of ends up looking a bit silly here, Sassy, where, he TPs and Mazzino just kills him. And so that's the spike, right? And so we're against the save. We ended up in a 5v3, but then it just ended up in pure, like, chaos. And Leviathan, managed to get into this really good situation. I mean, there's going to be even more chaos in this round. King gets himself into a really, nice spot as Sentinels start to come towards this B site. And when they realize that Leviathan, that, yeah, they are coming towards B, Mazzino is going to TP into the back of site, which is a perfectly normal and kind of reasonable thing to do. But it's kind of a bit of a weird one where King, once King misses this dart, right, and the nanoswarm goes past as well, King's got to be saying, I'm in a really good spot here, right? And he, doesn't hit it perfectly, but he managed to get one kill, which is good enough. And now we end up in a 2v1. And, really Mazzino's job here in the 2v1 and knowing where Pancada is and maybe even hearing him drop, it's just got to be to kind of Maybe he doesn't hear him drop, honestly, because Nosworth walks back, and so maybe there's just a bit of miscommunication. Don't know. But really, Mazzino, he dies there, and we end up in a 1v1. Just pure chaos. Pancada's going to pop down his Killjoy lockdown as well. Nosworth picks up a gun and is going to manage to win this round for Leviathan just there. And yeah, bizarre round, but again, I think we see maybe some of the problems that Sentinels can have, where, again, our initial plan was a B split. We got the first 2 kills. Let's send it. And it all kind of goes crumbling down. And now let's finish with round number 19, which is actually a round that Sentinels lose, but I think you can see here that, they can have some pretty cool ideas, that this was a very cool idea. It just didn't go right for them in this instance, right? So what we're going to see early on is Sassy's going to TP across, but he ends up in a bit of danger. So Def flashes for him, and he manages to escape. And so then they manage to drone and see where Tackleer is. They push him off, and they take this early mid control. They shock dart. They get the flash. They take this early mid control just here. They don't quite break the door, but they think about it. And then they send in another dart, and deep smoke just there. And so they take this mid control. Now, once we get to this position, now they decide to kind of formulate their plan. And initially, it looks like the call is, yeah, let's do a B split then off the back of the control that we've got. But then they come up with a better idea, which is actually, no, now let's do a fake A split into a B hit, which is quite a cool idea, and they do it pretty well. I will say so. So what we're going to get is we're going to get an Omen flash in just a second. We're going to get the KO knife just coming in there. Then we're going to get a flash here. So there goes the smoke. We're going to get a flash here from Def as well, coming in just there. He's going to throw the nade, as you can see. We're going to get the Omen flash as well, right? And so they send in the fake, and they draw over the rotate from this jet just here. But now they're actually going to come the other way instead, as these guys begin to rotate, but now it's going to be that fast B play instead. You see them start sprinting up here. We even get the Omen TP to the backside. This is a really cool usage of an Omen TP, where we faked this and we got an Omen flash there, but actually our Omen is now on the back of B site, right? Like, it's a really cool idea, because when you've, faked this A presence, right, you're probably not expecting that anyone has just continued to sit back there, not having seen much towards B. And so, they end up in a pretty good spot. The problem is that Shy and Nosworth here are just going to go, pretty big, to be honest. Tens, unfortunately, they can't, the dart doesn't quite reveal where they are, so they don't know how many people are here, for one, and, where those people are. So Tens ends up dying to Shy, and then this is really the big fight, where, if Sassy kills Nosworth here, I mean, Shy is just doomed, right? Shy is just in a world of trouble. Unfortunately for Sentinels, Nosworth is going to kill Sassy instead, and so, that kind of, eliminates that backstab element, and Nosworth essentially just goes absolutely hero mode here. He's going to even manage to get another kill. Like, he just goes crazy good from him. But the idea from Sentinels is we get a jump scare here at the end. The stacker comes actually over the top. But again, the idea from Sentinels wasn't that bad. It was a nice idea. It was a nice round plan. It was a pretty good execution of that round plan, really. If Sassy kills Nosworth, right, or if the dart reveals where they are, right, if they're in slightly different positions, they probably win that round, Sentinels, and it looks really cool, and then, maybe they just go on to dominate this game. And sure, their Pearl was a bit rough, right? They got kind of destroyed on Pearl, but I definitely think that this game was an improvement for Sentinels, and was something to build on, which makes the dismissal of Psycho all the more weird.